All right, let's get into it. There is a huge storm brewing inside one of the biggest tech companies on the planet. A financial titan, we're talking trillions of dollars here, is publicly taking on the leadership of Microsoft. And this is not just another boring corporate meeting. Nope. This is a high-stakes showdown that could totally change how we think about holding big tech accountable. Okay, so let's set the stage. In one corner, you've got Norway's sovereign wealth fund, a massive $2 trillion giant. And in the other corner, Microsoft's own management, led by CEO Satya Nadella. You've got these two heavyweights on a collision course, and it is all about to come to a head. So what's this fight really about? Well, the battleground is Microsoft's upcoming annual general meeting, or AGM. And at its heart, this is a major clash of philosophies. Norway's fund is voting against management on count them, three critical issues that really make you question what corporate responsibility even means in this day and age. Now, for anyone who's not deep in corporate speak, an AGM is basically the one time a year where the company's real owners, the shareholders, get to have their say. They get to vote on everything from who's on the board to major company policies. It's like corporate democracy live in action. Okay, so the first point of conflict is a big one: human rights. The fund is pushing for Microsoft to report on the risks of doing business in countries with, let's say, questionable human rights records. Basically, they're demanding more transparency. But Microsoft's management, they're telling their shareholders to vote against it. Next up, it's about leadership. The fund is voting against letting CEO Satya Nadella also be the chairman of the board. Now, this is a classic corporate governance debate. Think of it this way. You probably don't want the person running the company every day to also be in charge of the group that's supposed to be watching over him. It's all about keeping things independent. And the third major challenge? This one hits right at the CEO's wallet. Norway's fund is voting a big, fat no on Satya Nadella's proposed pay package. You know, this is one of the most direct ways for shareholders to say, hey, we're not happy. And believe me, they are not holding back. So you have to be asking, who exactly is this investor throwing down the gauntlet like this? To really get why this is such a massive deal, you've got to understand the sheer scale of this fund. Its size is everything. We are talking about Norway's sovereign wealth fund. It's valued at a staggering $2 trillion. That's a T. This isn't just some regular hedge fund. This is basically a country's piggy bank, built from its oil and gas money. And when a $2 trillion investor talks, you can bet that companies listen. Now, check this out. Look at how much skin they have in this specific game. Their investment in Microsoft alone is worth $50 billion. So this isn't just some small investor making a symbolic protest. This is a very calculated move by one of the company's biggest owners. And it just puts it all into perspective. For them, Microsoft isn't just another stock in their portfolio. It is their second largest holding in the entire world, right behind NVIDIA. So when they vote like this, they're trying to protect and shape one of their most precious assets. Right, so here's the crucial point. You might see 1.35% and think, that's not a lot. But that small percentage makes them Microsoft's 8th largest shareholder. A no vote from an investor that big sends a massive signal to everyone else in the market. It's the kind of thing that can sway other big investors to vote the same way. And that brings us to the big picture. Why does this one vote matter so much? Why is it making headlines? Well, because this is way more than just an internal squabble at Microsoft. It's a perfect example of a much bigger trend that's changing the entire relationship between investors and the world's most powerful companies. So what should you really take away from this whole showdown? Well, first, it's a huge sign that activist investors are more powerful than ever. They're not afraid to use their ownership to demand real change. Second, it shows there's intense pressure on big tech to be accountable for more than just making money. Ethical stuff like human rights is now front and center. It also proves how one single giant fund can directly steer the policies of a corporate behemoth. And finally, it really signals a bigger shift in the world of investing, where social responsibility is starting to matter just as much as the bottom line. And all of this leaves us with one really fascinating final question. You know, as governments all over the world seem to be struggling to keep up with tech, a new force is stepping up. Are these huge ethically minded shareholders becoming the new sheriffs of Silicon Valley? It's a powerful idea to think about. And this vote at Microsoft, well, it just might be a peek into our future.